Most people are living a lie. A comfortable, dangerous lie. They're convinced that success should feel good, that progress should be easy, and that the right strategy will magically solve all their problems without any real friction. But here's what nobody wants to tell you. The path to everything you want, to wealth, to a powerful mind, to a life of freedom, is paved with uncomfortable, often brutal truths. Truths that most people refuse to accept. Today, I'm going to share 15 of them. These aren't feel-good platitudes. This isn't motivational fluff designed to make you feel warm and fuzzy for 10 minutes. These are the hard-earned, unsexy, and relentlessly effective insights that give certain people an unfair advantage in life, while others stay stuck in a loop of confusion, wondering why nothing ever changes for them. If you're ready to stop lying to yourself and start operating in reality, let's dive in. Truth number 1. Progress always comes with pain. Here's your first wake-up call. Pain is the admission fee for progress. The fastest, most transformative growth periods of your life will also be the most deeply uncomfortable. If you want to advance, you must get comfortable being uncomfortable. This is not a philosophy, it is a law of nature. Think about it physiologically. When you build muscle, what are you actually doing? You are literally tearing muscle fibers apart so they can rebuild stronger. Growing pains as a kid? That's your body expanding faster than your joints can comfortably handle. In business, rapid expansion is supposed to be good news, but it doesn't make the stress, the sleepless nights, and the logistical chaos any less real. Elite athletes don't get stronger during their easy sessions. They don't coast. They transform during the workouts that make them question everything. You cannot simultaneously want massive progress and a comfortable, easy life. These two desires are fundamentally, eternally incompatible. Truth number 2, the happiness-satisfaction balance. Here's a distinction that will change how you approach every single one of your goals. You are absolutely allowed to be happy before you achieve them. You're just not allowed to be satisfied. There is a massive, critical difference between being content with your journey and being complacent about your destination. There's a powerful Haitian proverb: behind mountains are more mountains. Every peak you conquer, every goal you achieve, just reveals the next range of peaks waiting ahead. But the secret is that the work shapes you more than you shape the work. The process of striving is what forges character and meaning. Meaningful work isn't just a means to an end. The work itself is what gives a life purpose. The results are just a byproduct. Challenging work, productive discomfort, that is what makes you feel alive. Stagnation is a slow death. There is discomfort on both sides of the equation, the pain of growth or the pain of decay. You must choose one. Now, in just a moment, I'm going to reveal the mindset shift that completely changes how you handle criticism. But first, you need to understand why most people's opinions are, frankly, worthless. Truth number 3, why most critics don't matter. Let me hit you with some uncomfortable math. Most people are mediocre. They are average. By definition, average in health, average in wealth, and average in mindset. So why would you ever let their opinions dictate your actions? The average person will always, consciously or unconsciously, try to keep you average. It makes perfect sense. Your desire to be extraordinary requires you to do things that ordinary people see as extreme, unnecessary, or insane. Your ambition is a mirror, and for many people, it reflects back their own inaction and fear. Here's the part that stings. Many people secretly want to see you fail, because your success would serve as a painful reminder of the risks they were too scared to take themselves. Always listen to the people who are closest to your goals, not the people who are closest to your heart. Your loving family members might mean well, but if they've never built what you're trying to build, their advice is just well-intentioned noise. It's a map of a territory they've never visited. Here's a harsh perspective that helps filter the noise. Your critics will eventually die. And in 100 years, their opinions won't matter. Which means logically, they probably don't matter now either. So you might as well pursue what you originally wanted. Truth number 4, the power of selective focus. Real, world-changing productivity isn't about doing more things. It's about doing fewer things with a ruthless, almost violent level of focus. Let me redefine 2 words for you: commitment and focus. Commitment is the elimination of alternatives. When you get married, you eliminate all other romantic options. That's real commitment. Focus works the same way. The most focused person isn't the one who works the hardest. It's the one who does the fewest things outside of their main objective. Here's the framework that changes everything. Focus is measured by the number of things you say no to, not the number of things you say yes to. People are constantly trying to add new productivity hacks to their lives, when true productivity comes from subtraction, not addition. Picture this analogy. Imagine you need to climb over a wall, and you have 4 ladder rungs. Most people spread those 4 rungs across 4 different walls, hoping one will magically work out. None of them get high enough to matter. The smart move? Stack all 4 rungs on one wall, and actually get over it. The temptation to diversify your effort is a constant enemy. But the concentration of effort is what creates breakthrough results. Scattered attention leads to scattered results. Focused attention leads to concentrated power. Truth number 5, fear versus regret. Choose your hard. Your entire life will be shaped by one simple choice. Which do you fear more? The terror of change and the possibility of rejection, or the quiet, soul-crushing certainty of regret? Change is terrifying, but so is staying the same, if the same is slowly killing you. The successful version of yourself, the one you dream about, feels the exact same fears that you do. The difference is that their fear of regret outweighs their fear of rejection. There is often a paralyzing gap between making a decision and acting on it. You can measure a person's power by the size of that gap. What gets people over the edge isn't a magical surge of courage. It is clarity. You must play out the worst-case scenario in excruciating detail. What if you completely and utterly fail? You'd be embarrassed. You might face financial difficulty, but you won't die. You can always recover. Fear only has power in the abstract. The moment you drag it into the light and make it specific, it loses most of its monstrous size. If you're living in the developed world, most of your downside risks are imaginary social constructs. The biggest real risk is the judgment of people whose opinions shouldn't have mattered in the first place. Truth number 6, persistence creates perfect timing. Here's a counterintuitive truth. You can time everything perfectly if you simply never plan to stop. Most people try to time their efforts around opportunities. That's backward thinking. It's gambling. Imagine your lifetime as a long, horizontal timeline. Random, unpredictable opportunities will appear at various points on this line. Most people work in frantic spurts, hoping their burst of effort aligns with the appearance of one of those opportunities. The smart player knows this is a losing game. The smart player works consistently. They know that if they are always moving, always preparing, they'll be ready whenever an opportunity strikes. Perfect timing is a myth. Perfect preparation is a strategy. Starting creates the perfect conditions for opportunities to find you. The more you do, the more you realize you can do. Skills multiply opportunities exponentially. Look at someone like Elon Musk. He doesn't wait for perfect conditions in an industry. He creates them through relentless preparation and a diverse skill set built over decades. Truth number 7, envy is wasted energy. If people worked as hard on their own goals as they do hating others for achieving theirs, they'd already have everything they want. The mental and emotional energy that goes into envy and resentment is massive, and it is completely, utterly unproductive. It's a poison you drink hoping the other person will die. Here are some hard truths about comparison. First, nobody is doing as well as you think they are. Social media is a highlight reel, not the full, messy documentary of their life. Second, you don't win by beating other people. You win by outgrowing them, by evolving so far past them that they shrink into irrelevance. Your biggest competition isn't other people. It's the mediocre version of yourself who never realizes what they could have become. I've noticed that the people who get copied most by their competition are the ones who completely ignore their competition. They are obsessed with serving their mission better, and everyone else is forced to follow their lead. The real threat isn't that someone will copy your idea. The real threat is that you will do nothing worth copying. Take all that energy you spend looking sideways at others and redirect it inward. Truth number 8. Hard conversations create opportunities. Everything you want is waiting on the other side of a conversation you have been avoiding. People either grow into their potential, or they live the same 6 months over and over again for the rest of their lives. The difference often comes down to how quickly they have the necessary but difficult conversations once they realize they're necessary. This is a universal point of failure. The fear of confrontation is immense. But here's the reality. If you think uncomfortable conversations are hard, wait until you see the devastating, long-term consequences of not having them. You're always choosing between 2 types of pain: short-term discomfort or long-term regret. Comfort gives you short-term relief, but a lifetime of pain. Fear gives you short-term pain, but a lifetime of freedom and fulfillment. You must always be willing to trade short-term pain for long-term gain. Never the opposite. Truth number 9. Learn to endure the impossible. There is one skill that stands above all others: the ability to endure. The fastest way to become the person you want to be is to put yourself in situations where you have no other choice but to become that person. Constraint forces creativity. When you have abundant resources, you get lazy. You can afford to be inefficient. But when your back is against the wall, with no safety net and no guaranteed outcome, you become resourceful. You cannot afford expensive solutions, so you learn to provide genuine value. You cannot hire help, so you become ruthlessly efficient. You cannot waste a single hour on non-essentials because every moment must count towards survival. You would be amazed at what you can endure when you have no other choice. Throughout human history, people have survived unimaginable hardships, not because they were special, but because the only alternative was giving up completely. When your only options are figure it out or fail, you almost always figure it out. Truth number 10. Results beat excuses every time. Your excuses might be valid. They might be well-reasoned and factually correct, but they are still excuses. Here's a quote that changes the entire game. It's not your fault, but it is still your problem. You can either do something about your situation, or you can spend the rest of your life explaining, brilliantly, why you couldn't. Excuses are permission slips for mediocrity. You want everyone else to give you respect without you providing results, all because of your special circumstances. But the only person who actually believes your excuses is you. Everyone else just nods politely while they wait for you to finish. The person whose respect matters most, yourself, will always know you could have done more. That's the voice that keeps you up at night. You must adopt a new motto. I will do what is required. Not my best, because my best can be lazy. I will do what the goal requires of me. And what's required is often far better than your current best. Truth number 11. The hard way is the only way. The hard way is actually the easy way, because the easy way never gets you there. Everyone is looking for the shortcut, the hack, the secret. But here's the reality. Real shortcuts get discovered, and they are immediately adopted by everyone. At which point, they are no longer shortcuts. They become standard practice. All the things you want that most people don't have, do not have shortcuts available. People waste more time and energy looking for the easy way than it would take to just do it the hard way in the first place. It's usually not one big, difficult thing. It's 100 small, difficult, unsexy things spread across days, weeks, and months. There are different types of difficulty: the hardship of sacrifice, the hardship of effort, the hardship of risk, and the hardship of uncertainty. Each one will present itself at different times. You need to be ready for all of them. Truth number 12. Don't give away your power. What offends you controls you. Whatever you blame for your problems is what you are giving power over your life. When you say, I can't succeed because of X, you're literally stating that X controls your destiny. It's a common trap to use a past injustice as a justification for present inaction. But in doing so, you are giving your past complete control over your future. Sometimes people sabotage themselves because they don't want to validate those who hurt them. It's like saying, I'll prove you were a bad influence by never succeeding. But that logic is a self-inflicted wound. The day you choose to control yourself is the day you divorce your results from even the most valid reasons you have to fail. Truth number 13. Rejection versus regret redux. Everyone must eventually choose. Risking rejection now, or guaranteeing regret later. Losers fear rejection. Winners fear regret. It's that simple. Most attempts at everything fail. Failure is a literal prerequisite for success. Here's one of the most important truths to internalize. Greatness rejects all first-time applicants. Champions aren't excited about winning, they are relieved. They hate losing far more than they love winning. Truth number 14. Consistency demolishes talent. You can beat most people at almost anything if you just stick with it for 1 year. What makes things difficult isn't their complexity. It's the required consistency. The world belongs to those who can keep working without seeing immediate results. Overnight success is a myth. What people see as a sudden breakthrough was actually built through countless hours of practice when the stakes were zero and nobody was watching. You must outwork your self-doubt through repetition, not through affirmations. You overcome fear by exposing yourself to the scary things so many times that it simply becomes normal. Truth number 15. Embrace shamelessness. If you have no money and you want to make money, you should have no shame. If you want a specific outcome, you cannot afford the luxury of being shy about trying. Send the cold emails. Reach out to the mentors. Apply for the opportunities you think you're underqualified for. Do whatever it takes. Life-changing opportunities don't just appear, they are hunted. Sometimes shame is just a social construct invented by people who have resources to prevent people who don't from taking action. What exactly are you ashamed of? Trying? That makes no logical sense. Every attempt has an asymmetric risk-reward. Worst case, you get rejected and learn something. Best case, you get exactly what you want. Both outcomes make you better than you were before. Life gives you unlimited attempts, as long as you're alive. The brutal truth is that most people will choose the comfortable lie over the uncomfortable truth, every single time. They will make excuses, they will blame their circumstances, and they will wait for perfect conditions that will never arrive. But you are not most people. Or you wouldn't have made it this far into a video like this. You have a choice right now. You can accept these harsh realities and use them as your unfair advantage. Or you can pretend they don't apply to you and stay exactly where you are. The people who win aren't smarter, luckier, or more talented. They just accept reality faster and act accordingly. Every single truth I've shared is available to everyone, but most people will refuse to implement them simply because they're uncomfortable. And if you found this video helpful, I'm sure this next one will take you even further. Your choice, your life.